Hello, everybody. Welcome to a FB Live training for Fire Your Inner Critic, Find Your Inner Badass, and finally build your business. Cassandra Von Worsley here. If you are watching on YouTube, you can join us in this amazing community of aspiring and established entrepreneurs who are doing the work of firing their inner critic and finding their inner badass and building, whether it is a business idea or a brand new business or ending a current business and building another business to massive success. We are working on the inner leadership, the inner mindset, the game that changes everything in your business. And it has nothing to do with conversion rates, opt-in pages, email lists. It has nothing to do with the strategies and tactics of building a business. No, the work that we're doing in this community is the work that so few people in the entrepreneurial realm talk about, and yet it is the thing that makes or breaks your business. It's your inner mindset, it's your game, it's your inner leadership, it's your, what we call EQ, your emotional intelligence. It's your ability to, no matter what, no matter how, no matter when, lead from within. That's what we're talking about in Fire Your Inner Critic, Find Your Inner Badass, and finally build your business. And on today's FB Live, I am talking about a topic I just can't even, I'm so excited to talk about it that I need to slow myself down so I don't go overboard here. How to overcome the fear of past business failure. If you have ever tried to start a business, if you have ever wanted to start a business, if you have ever started a business or numerous businesses, you understand that failure is part of the game. Failure is part of the process. And yet so many people want to act like if you're not doing well in business at this moment, or if you opened a business 10 years ago and now you want to go into a completely different business now, you should really hold back and think about it and consider it and debate it, because maybe you're not the entrepreneurial type. Maybe you're not the business type. I know your inner critic probably feeds you all these lies about how, you're a good employee, you're a good, somebody to have a business. Hey, Laura, there's my soul sister. You have all of these concepts and ideas of what success looks like in business. And for most people, none of success in business looks like failing or failing a lot. And yet what we're going to talk about is how do you overcome the fear of past business failures? Because the most successful business owners, guess what? They have failed over and over and over again. And I'm not going to give you the trite kind of common examples of Sam Walton and how many times he filed bankruptcy before Walmart became what it is today. I'm not going to tell you about KFC guy and how he literally got his first Social Security check and was like, this is not paying the rent, and then took his recipe and created KFC. I'm not going to give you all those stories, because at the end of the day, what your inner critic is going to tell you about all those stories that I could share with you of people like Louise L. Hay, who was virtually not making any money, nowhere close to middle class, in her 40s and 50s, and then started Hay House at 60 something and lived until her 90s and built an empire. I'm not going to tell you about Louise L. Hay, because your inner critic at the end of the day, hey Laura, your inner critic at the end of the day is going to say, but they're not you. So you could tell me everything you want to tell me about Louise L. Hay and KFC guy and Sam Walton and Walmart, but they're not you. They have something you don't. So we're going to tell the inner critic in today's training to sit down and shut up while we talk about how do you overcome the fear of past business failures. Everybody's failed. That's the beauty of life. Everybody's failed. So failure for most of us is familiar because we've all done it many, many times. But when you fail in business, whether it's a failure you had last week, a failure you had with a webinar, a failure, yeah, Laura, this is we got to talk about this. We are failing all the time, and yet people want to glorify their wins and shut up about their losses. I'm here to tell you the power's in the pain. The power is in the failure if you know what to do with the failure. But first things first, we have to stop living in the prison of a past we cannot change. And so often for entrepreneurs, what happens is we think that our mistakes from the past have made us unworthy for our power in the present to create a business future unlike anything we've ever had before. So we don't look at it, Laura, you got it, you nailed it. It is growing pains. But so often we take the growing pains of past failures in business and we make them permanent in our minds, which then produces permanent results in our lives. And it's time to just let that prison go. That prison of, well, I didn't do it before. What makes me think I'm going to do it now? Or, nobody in my family has ever built a successful business. In fact, some of them tried and they all are still in a day job that they hate. How am I going to expect to do it now? We're going to shut all that down. Because at the end of the day, here's the beauty of it. Your failure, all of your failures, every single failure is a master teacher. It is a master teacher. So when you fail, I'm not saying love failure. I don't love when I fail. But because I understand that failure is the master teacher, not success, when I fail, I make sure I get every bit of leverage from that failure that you could ever imagine. Leverage called clarity. When we fail, oh boy, we're asking questions of clarity when we fail. When you fail in business, instead of looking at like, I didn't get these clients this week or I didn't do this, clarity. What is this showing me? What is this teaching me? What is this making me aware of? What needs to change for me to turn the lever on this in my business? Clarity comes with failure. Commitment and renewed commitment comes with failure. You know what I love about failure? I love when, especially if it's public, I love when people underestimate me. I love it. I love when I fall on my face and I can just feel the haters going, see? Because it renews my commitment to make it no matter what. No matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody does, whether people support me or not, failure brings with it, if you choose it, renewed commitment. Failure also brings wisdom. I don't make the kind of entrepreneurial mistakes I made 10 years ago in business. I don't make the same mistakes that I made 5 years ago in business. And when I get a mistake, do you know what I like to do with it in business? I write that sucker down. So the next time that comes on my path, I remind myself, the last time you tried that didn't work. Would you like a replay? Would you like to do the insanity thing? Or would you like to try a different approach? Usually, unless I'm being super stubborn, I choose a different approach. So failure brings you clarity, commitment, wisdom. Can we just talk about direction and stamina? Success makes people, for the most part, feel complacent. So when you succeed, you kind of, your chest puffs up, you feel really good, and then you get kind of comfortable. Failure brings stamina. There is no comfort when you fail. There is no I guess I could ride this out a little bit. No, when you fail, you go, okay, this direction is not working. What direction do I need to take? And then you go, okay, I'm bruised, I'm beaten, but I'm not down. So I need the stamina to keep going. Doesn't matter how I feel. I got to keep going. So failure gives you so much of those things, the clarity, the commitment, the direction, the stamina, the wisdom. But here's the thing, you got to learn from it and leverage the learning. People get stuck in failure when they don't learn from the failure, when they don't leverage it, when they don't see it for the power that it is. You've got to, when did you last fail in your business and what did you do with that failure? Did you use that failure or did you let that failure use you? That's the question. What did you do with the last failure? Did you get down because you didn't hit your sales number? Did you get down because somebody, I've had a number of unsubscribes from my email list. Hey, Tanya, I've had so many unsubscribes since I started doing a daily email list. Do you think I stopped sending a daily email to my email list? Hell no. I send my daily email out because those that are for me, and those that are not for me needed to go anyway. So it's really important that you learn and you leverage your failure. Now, here's the other thing. What else do you do to overcome the fear of past failures? You've got to decide where you're going to live. You got to decide. Now, what do I mean? Now, this is where the inner critic and the inner badass like to duke it out. You have to decide where you're going to live mentally in your head. You've got to decide if you're going to live from the past, the present, or the future. Where are you going to live? Because so many entrepreneurs are living in the shadow of a past they cannot change. So many entrepreneurs are living in I tried this the last time and it didn't pan out, or my mother tried this, my father tried this, my brothers tried this. There's nobody I know who's done this well. Or if they've been successful in business, they had to do a business that they really hate. So they basically have a business that's a job, which is just over broke because they're not happy in the business. No, we're not going to live in the past. We are right there. Scarcity mentality is, I love that, to live in the past. Here's the thing. There's a delicate balance of where you choose to live mentally. Now, the inner critic loves for you to live in the past because the inner critic has kept notes of every mistake you've ever made, and the inner critic will break down for you line by line every screw up in business you have ever done. But your inner badass is not living back there. Your inner badass is front and center, whole mind and present action, with such a clear vision of where you're going that your inner badass is like, we're already 5 years from now doing the work today, because 5 years from now is right here. So we've got to make sure that, and you're right, Laura, living too much in the future creates anxiety. That's why we have a clear vision of the future, but whole mind and present action right now. The now is where it all gets created. And that's why people who live in the past now just create a future like the past. That's what they do. They create a future just like the past. So here's the thing. The ideal situation to overcome the fear of past business failures is to give everything you've got to now. Whatever your next step is, whatever your next item on your to-do list, you put whole mind into present action. The vision is so clear that you can see it, and you operate now in the version of you that will exist in your business 5 years from now. That you is already in you. What you need to do is activate it now, live it now. Forget about like where I'm going to be 5 years from now. Who am I going to be 5 years from now? And then be that right here, right now. And then here's the third thing, focus on progress. Do you know what people do? They miss out on their peace and their profitability in business because they are so tied to a result that they haven't gotten yet that they miss the entire point of their business, which is progress. Do you know what makes people happy? It's not money, it's not things, it's not even people. It's progress. It's knowing that today you became more of who you are. It's knowing that today you took a step closer to who you want to be. Progress brings happiness. Nothing can substitute that. So it's important to understand that progress is not only happiness, but it's the small daily wins. It's consistency. It's putting your habits of business in place, putting your mental habits in place. What do you say to yourself when you wake up? What do you say to yourself before you go to bed? What do you say about your business? How do you talk about this amazing life that you've been given, this amazing calling that you've been given? Do you talk about it like it's hard? Or do you talk about it like God gave it to you and it's powerful and it doesn't matter what manifests, because as long as you are fully in it today, what is coming will come? How do you speak about that? That's where the power is. So just remember, it is small daily improvement over time, and small daily improvement, the progress that you make every single day. Send out that email, post that thing on Instagram, put your own quotes on Pinterest. It doesn't matter who repins it. Take the action, believe in yourself, stand in the certainty and the knowing of your purpose, and then just do the work every single day. Repeat, repeat, repeat. But here's the thing. Your past cannot be the excuse why you don't do what you need to do today. Your past cannot be the thing that you focus on today. Your past is done. It's over. Gone. Your present is everything here and now, and it's everything that will be in the future. Focus on that. Tell your inner critic, as I like to call it, to SDASU, which stands for sit down and shut up and do the work of today. And then you will find that any fear you have about what happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, yeah, it might still be in the car with you. It just won't be in the driver's seat. It just won't be in the driver's seat. And I don't need my fear to leave because it's my fear. I own it. I simply don't need it driving the car of my life and the car of my business. And so long as it's in the car, but it's not in the driver's seat, you got what you need. But at the end of the day, I want you to think about this. Failure is power if you know how to leverage it. How are you leveraging your power? All right, boom. All right, guys, I will see you on tomorrow's FB Live training. I'll talk to you later.